because the game is different. Like, I want people to understand and our fans to understand that
it really feels like LeBron is trying to reshape history to make himself look better, but fans immediately caught on to it. That episode ended up becoming the most disliked upload in the history of the podcast because even many hardcore LeBron supporters could not defend that level of disrespect. LeBron described the 80s as slow and overcrowded basketball. But when you actually check the numbers from 1986 and 1987, the game was being played at a much faster pace than what we see in 2026. Teams were pushing the tempo nonstop while taking heavy contact with almost no foul calls. LeBron talks about how difficult modern spacing is, yet ignores the reality that players back then were flying commercial, staying in ordinary hotels, and surviving without private jets or massive recovery teams worth millions. It almost seems like he is building excuses for all the load management we see in today's NBA. Just think about how brutal that era really was. Players like Jordan and Magic were competing at maximum intensity, wearing shoes with barely any support, and there were no cryotherapy rooms or personal chefs waiting for them at halftime. We already saw Shaq react angrily to those comments, but it turns out the older generation was not the only group upset. A lot of younger players were irritated too, especially Victor Wembanyama, who reportedly did not hold back at all. This was viewed as more than just a bad opinion. People felt it was a deliberate attempt to strengthen LeBron's GOAT argument against Jordan by downplaying older generations. To many fans, it sounded disrespectful toward the legends who created the very style and moves modern stars rely on today. The backlash exploded and created the setup for one of the most heated NBA debates we have ever witnessed. Because while LeBron was controlling the narrative publicly, Victor Wembanyama was quietly preparing a response that reportedly left LeBron stunned. Wemby is usually known as one of the calmest personalities in basketball, but insiders say he finally snapped after seeing LeBron criticize the legends Victor admired growing up. We are talking about a 22-year-old player who could easily embrace the modern style, yet he is reportedly frustrated by how soft the league has become. Wemby is tired of the flopping and foul hunting that have turned games into entertainment shows, and, according to reports, he blames LeBron for influencing that culture. And here is the irony. LeBron practically helped create the blueprint for the dramatics we now see every night in the NBA. Now, players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder have mastered those same tactics. During those recent games where the Los Angeles Lakers were overwhelmed by the Thunder, LeBron looked completely frustrated because he was finally experiencing his own strategy being used against him. Shai and the younger stars were taking advantage of every soft whistle possible, and it played a huge role in ending the Lakers' playoff hopes. Wemby reportedly saw this as the perfect example of why foul baiting has damaged the soul of basketball today. Then, he reportedly delivered the quote that had the entire San Antonio Spurs organization talking for weeks afterward. He said that the so-called king needed to show respect to the legends of the game. Hearing that was shocking because almost nobody speaks about LeBron in that way publicly. You might wonder why someone born in 2004 cares so deeply about basketball from the 90s. But that is exactly what makes Wemby so dangerous for the future of the league, because he has studied countless hours of film featuring Jordan, Shaq, and Kareem. And then there is the influence of Greg Popovich, who has protected traditional basketball values for decades. Pop has reportedly been molding Wemby into the ultimate answer to LeBron's style of basketball. For years, Popovich has taught Victor that true greatness comes from toughness, discipline, and old-school fundamentals. And you can clearly see it in Wemby's game because he is not obsessed with endless three-pointers or standing around the perimeter. Instead, he built his game around dominant post moves and a deadly mid-range attack that feels straight out of 1995. He is intentionally embracing old-school basketball as a statement against the belief that today's game is somehow too advanced for past legends to survive in. And while LeBron focuses on protecting his image through podcasts and media appearances, many basketball legends seem ready to pass the torch to Victor Wembanyama. We have not seen this kind of approval from former legends since the rise of Kobe Bryant. It almost feels like the basketball world saw LeBron's comments and started searching for a player who truly respects the game's history. And when Charles Barkley publicly supports you, that is when you know something major is happening. Just this May, Barkley went on a passionate rant using Wemby as the perfect example to challenge LeBron's argument that today's NBA is supposedly harder than previous era.
And this guy is like 4 inches taller, and he's athletic. It can shoot threes. I mean, it is a beautiful thing.
But maybe the most shocking turnaround of all came from Shaquille O'Neal. Remember when Shaq used to be one of Wemby's harshest critics, constantly saying he was nothing more than a tall player with skill? Well, jump ahead to 2026, and Shaq has completely changed his stance. Now he is calling Victor Wembanyama the first truly perfect big man the sport has ever seen.
I said this to you and the guy. I think Wemby is the first perfect big man that's ever created.
But Shaq did not stop at praising Victor. He also used Wemby as a direct way to criticize LeBron's podcast comments. Shaq made it clear that Wemby plays basketball the way it is supposed to be played, attacking the paint, embracing physical contact, and dominating inside instead of drifting around the perimeter, like many of the softer modern stars LeBron continues to defend. And it is not only the legendary big men supporting Victor either. Back in April, Wemby earned the Magic Johnson Award, and Magic Johnson could not stop praising the maturity and intelligence Victor brings to the game, qualities he believes are missing from many players in today's NBA. You can tell Magic recognizes that old-school 80s mentality in the way Wemby approaches basketball. Even Kevin Garnett, one of the fiercest competitors the league has ever seen, talked about how Victor has that rare killer mentality that this generation desperately lacks. And when KG says someone deserves to become the global face of basketball, it almost sounds like a message that LeBron's era is finally coming to an end.
He's changing how we're looking at the post position. Victor is bringing a different level of guard slash small forward to the big man position.
Having legends support you is impressive, but actually outperforming the man who calls himself the GOAT is a completely different level. While LeBron focuses on his brand and recovery routines, Victor Wembanyama lives with an obsession that reminds people of Kobe Bryant. What makes Wemby scary is not just his height or wingspan, but his old-school mentality trapped inside a young superstar. Instead of chasing fame and celebrity culture, Victor spends his time studying, training, and sharpening his mind. To him, basketball is not just a career, it is his entire life. That is why many former players believe he represents everything the NBA used to stand for. Victor's emotional reaction after a big win reminded fans of Michael Jordan's passion back in 1991, showing how deeply he cares about the game. And unlike many modern stars, Wemby is focused on playing as many games as possible rather than sitting out for load management. The contrast with LeBron becomes even bigger when it comes to physicality. Advanced stats from 2026 showed Victor had one of the lowest foul baiting rates among superstars, while LeBron continued getting criticized for flopping. Fans especially noticed the difference after Victor took a hard hit against OKC and immediately got back up without complaining. The tension reached another level when the San Antonio Spurs faced the Los Angeles Lakers. Victor dominated with 40 points and 15 rebounds in only 26 minutes, making it feel like a true changing of the guard. Later, during the 2026 All-Star Media Day, Victor gave a cold one-word answer when asked if he would cry after LeBron retires, making it clear that he respects the game more than any individual player. And the numbers back it all up. Victor joined legends like Hakeem, Shaq, and Kareem in the exclusive 35-15-5 playoff club while putting up elite defensive numbers rarely seen since the 90s. He also impressed fans with his efficiency, shooting over 70% in a huge playoff game while dominating through mid-range scoring and smart passing instead of chasing flashy highlights. Perhaps the most damaging comparison for LeBron is durability. Victor, at 7 feet 4 inches, is on pace to play over 70 games, while LeBron continues facing criticism over load management despite spending millions on recovery every year. Victor quietly plays through injuries without making excuses, while critics accuse LeBron of protecting his image whenever losses happen. And because of that mentality gap, many fans believe the GOAT debate has completely changed direction.